This is the 450 press conference. This afternoon, the moto finishes were Eli Tomac picked up 50 points with the 1-1. Ken Roczen was able to secure 42 points with a 2-3. And Marvin Musquin went 4-2 for 40 points. In the championship point standings, Eli Tomac has once again regained the points lead with 351. Marvin Musquin with 344. Justin Barsha has 296, and Ken Roczen is in fourth place with 288 points. I'd like to start with Eli Tomac. A week ago, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, didn't go very well, and then today looks like Eli Tomac had a mission to prove. What was it about this this Millville track?
Well, I mean, this was our first 450 class win in 2014, so I've had a pretty good pass here, and a couple of good results in the 250s too. It's just a track that's got similar soil to my house in Colorado, so always feel comfortable here for the most part, and just had plenty of motivation from Redbud, but I mean, you don't want to get too caught up in that stuff, but it definitely wasn't an easy pill to swallow, to lose the lead like we did. So yeah, I was just fired up all day.
Marvin Musquin, Moto number 1, we rarely see you make a mistake, and Moto 1, you had one of those rare mistakes. Was it something your own error, or what was it?
No, I mean, that track is really difficult, and I cross-routed down the hill and couldn't avoid a crash. So scared myself down the hill going down. I was could have got hurt. So I got back up, and luckily I was I couldn't get better than fourth place, but I was glad to get back up and finish the race, and too far behind those guys, and couldn't do better than fourth. But I was motivated for the second moto to get things better, and that's what happened. The riding was a lot better. I was more consistent, and I was happy with that.
Ken Roczen, as the year goes on, you're just getting stronger and stronger. Where do you feel you're back on a scale of 1 to 100 right now? Are you in the upper to mid 90s on the recovery scale?
Is that thing on? Hey. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say percentage-wise. I feel like to really gain back to 100%, it takes, I feel like an off season of just riding and doing my thing. But right now, all I want to do is having some strong rides, and I felt pretty comfortable all day. Like, we made another few adjustments on the bike. I've really, this is my first year on the bike, and really been giving it a lot of thought of when searching for making the bike better, and we definitely did. So that proved today. I mean, normally I'm like 4 or 5 seconds behind in qualifying practice, and I was pretty close today. So I just kind of had a fun day and good starts, and I felt like we were flying in the first moto and did pretty good. So I was happy with that second place, and even the second moto. Obviously, there's not enough in the tank, but we just kind of got to keep building from here. For some reason, I mean, I know we've had tracks with hills, but my wrists kind of hurt after both motos. I don't really notice it too much riding, but there's a lot of these heavy downhills, and you're hard on the brakes and some big bumps in the bottom. So this one definitely hurt my wrist a little bit more, but luckily you just notice that after once the body calms down. But overall, I had a lot of fun, and I'm happy with another second place.
I'd like to open it up now to questions from the media.
This is for Eli. Second moto, that was a heck of a battle. Did you feel like you could get it at any time, or was there times where you're like, man, I don't know if I'm able to do this? Because they were holding you at bay for most of it until the last couple of minutes.
I had no idea. I was just going forward, and once I had clear track, I never really had a lot of clear track back here in the roller section, and that's where I was making up a lot of my time. It was tough to make a pass back there to finish stuff, but that's where I was making my big ground. So that's where I made the big time at the end.
Hey, Ken, so you talked about, coming back from injuries, you're still working on some things. Would you say it's more cardio or more just the recovery from the injuries that you're still needing to work on and improve and get better?
To be honest, I feel pretty good at everything off the bike, because that's pretty much all I did for quite a while. And the only thing I can think of, I mean, I'm trying, but there's only really that much you can do at this stage. And I think it's just, riding fitness in the end. I'm trying to ride a lot, but in the end, you can't go overboard either. So it's a very fine line of training and doing too much. But like I said, anything off the bike. I actually just started cycling a couple of weeks ago because before, I don't know, the cycling position puts a lot of pressure on my thumb and my wrist, obviously, and road cycling anyways. And so just started with that. But overall, I feel pretty good. And I think, you can't, racing is racing. And the only way I'm going to get this kind of practice is when we go on the weekends. Anything outside of that is good, but it only helps you that much.
And Marvin, the points lead is still, the points difference in first and second is still very close. What's one thing that you feel like you need to go home and focus on to compete and, to get the points lead closer and maybe even take the lead back?
Well, nothing different. I just feel like we need to keep on, working hard and doing my thing like I've been doing all year. And, it's been a good year. And, every track's all different. So obviously we're going to see different riding. And I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of the championships. So there's good tracks. And my start's been, pretty consistent, especially today. So I'm happy with that. And it's going to be important for the rest of the season. And now I just try to focus on myself and keep charging for sure.
This question is for Ken. Ken, there's been a lot of Motocross of Nations talk by some of the riders throughout the series recently. Has Germany, will Germany field a team? Have you talked to the German Federation, or are you up for racing the Motocross of Nations?
Yeah, for sure. I talked to them, I don't know how many months ago, and it was kind of early, but I was for sure down to do it the entire time. But so I was in 2017 and ended up getting hurt. So I'm definitely in if everything goes well. We just talked to them actually this week, even my team did, and trying to set some things up early. I'm not a big plan, I'm not bad, but I don't really plan that far ahead because right now I have my hands full with racing and what's going on right now. But yeah, of course, I really want to.
Eli, I want to ask about the second moto. You actually passed Ken on the inside of the first downhill, and then you passed Marvin on the outside of that same downhill. I don't know if you remember how that all worked, but it was pretty impressive that you could make two different lines work for passes. Do you remember how that all worked out?
It worked. And it was a spot where you could finish the pass. There was a lot of spots where you'd go outside and try something different, but you couldn't finish it. So that was good. Make both those work.
And the downhill that came after that, the longest downhill, just how gnarly was that section? I know in the 250 class it was really important. I'm sure the same for you guys.
It was. In the second moto, it was a lot rougher and pretty scary at the bottom. You had to be on your toes and really watch your lines because the ground was kind of sticky too, so it'd pull you both ways. So that's a big hill.
I know you were motivated today, and I'm sure going 1-1 was great, but did you get worried at any point, coming into the weekend, I don't want to be too fired up, because you did well at the beginning of the year and trying to be patient and just doing it only when you needed to. So did you have to tell yourself in the back of your mind, don't go too crazy this weekend?
It's tough. I mean, you can just sit there and spin yourself out, if you think too much. So I just, did my thing, and that was it.
What did you learn about the problem last week? Were you communicating with the team? Did you just leave that to them? Or were you talking to them about it the whole 2 weeks here? As I'm sure they were trying to diagnose it. Are you involved with that, or you just do your part?
I mostly just do my part, and it's just racing, stuff happens. So I guess we were in a fortunate position that we were able to lose that big chunk of points.
And for Marvin, Washougal, I think has been a good track for you. So do you take a little confidence saying, all right, at least it's a different type of track next weekend, so maybe you can take something out of that?
Yeah, like I said, every track's all different, and last year I've been really good at Washougal, and I mean every year I love that track there. So definitely looking forward to that track, but also the rest of the season. It's going to be some good tracks, and even today, I mean that was a real track. It was rough, technical, and Washougal is a good one. So we'll see you next week.
final question then for you guys. Eli, I understand that on your weekend off, you went up quite a ways north, huh? Did you go fishing or something like that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Marvin, what'd you do on your weekend off?
No, nothing crazy. We just enjoy some time off with me and my wife. So nothing crazy. It's don't want to travel on the weekend off because we travel so much. So it was good to some time off.
And Ken, what were you up to?
I actually went scalloping, fried myself on Sunday. Felt like crap on Monday. Just, you're in the sun all day, and you'd be surprised how that takes it out of you.
Well,
More than a moto.
I'm glad you guys had a great time off and look forward to the rest of the season. Thank you very much. Folks, this is the 450 class from the Millville National. We'll see you all next week, hopefully, in Washougal as the trip heads all the way out west.